Hi, I'm Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, historic 18th and Vine, Kansas City, Missouri. The Negro Leagues Baseball Museum is the world's only museum dedicated to preserving and celebrating the rich history of African American baseball and its profound impact on the social advancement of America. And quite frankly, I do believe that it is that latter statement that grabs the hearts, the minds, and the imaginations now of the thousands of people who come to see us each and every year. I think the work that we've done now in the last 3 decades of our operations have helped people understand that, yeah, there were some pretty good baseball players that played in the Negro Leagues. But man, by the time you walk away from this experience, you walk away cheering the power of the human spirit to persevere and prevail. And that's what makes this museum and the incredible story that we document so compelling and so awe-inspiring. The players of the Negro Leagues faced mental challenges every single day because their mere existence in many ways was threatened as they were traveling the highways and byways of this country, not knowing where you could stop and get something to eat. I oftentimes remind folks that they could ride into a town, fill up the ballpark, but yet not be able to get a meal from the same fans who had just cheered them, or not have a place to stay. So now you got to sleep on the bus and eat your peanut butter and crackers. Yet they never allowed that set of social circumstances to kill their love of the game. And in many ways, the baseball field itself was their sanctuary. This is where they got an opportunity to show their stuff. Let me show you. I know you don't want me to play, but I'm gonna play this game anyway because you need to see me play because I'm good at what I do. And they wanted everyone to know how good they were. But the baseball sanctuary, and baseball, you have to understand, is a game of failure. Yeah, at its crux, it is a game of failure. You're going to fail more times than you succeed in this sport. So if you get 3 hits every 10 trips to the plate, man, you're a Hall of Famer. So this is a difficult game to play under any circumstances, no less having to carry the social weight that these athletes were carrying with them as they travel around this country to play the game that they love. But again, they allowed their talents, that self-belief that they had, to help them push aside that exterior forces that were coming at them so that they could focus on the opposition. Because man, I need to be in my full wit if I've got to face Satchel Paige. You know, and I'm the pitcher having to face Josh Gibson, who you know can hit that ball a country mile. So you had to balance all of that. And for me, I still marvel at their abilities to do that, to deal with the anxiety that comes naturally along with competition. Because they're still competing, and they're competing at the absolute highest level. They want to win, and then deal with the social anxiety that was also always prevalent during those days of the Negro Leagues, and even as the athletes started to transition into Major League Baseball. That social aspect of it never went away. And so it put quite a bit of stress on every one of those athletes, and somehow or another, they were able to handle it, and then handle it with such grace, class, and dignity, you know, right alongside everything that was going on. For me, I draw from being a former athlete. I think any of us who have participated in competition, in athletic competition, you understand that there's going to be stress. For me, if I walked on the basketball court when I was playing high school basketball and then a couple of years of small college basketball, and if I didn't have butterflies, chances are I wasn't ready to play. So you kind of need that a little bit. So, you know, I don't want it to be too calm. You know, so I need a little bit of something that kind of gets me going. And so, but to be able to balance that and then to channel it into a positive fashion is really the key. And for me, just to be able to kind of assess and not get too far ahead of myself. To really try and think these things through. And it certainly has served me well through the years. Now, again, the late great Don Motley, who was a longtime executive director of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, he would always tell me, he says, son, the good Lord takes care of babies and fools. And I'm not sure which category I fall in, but there's certainly been great fortune that have come my way along with this ability to kind of channel whatever is around me, those outer pressures that are around me, and to not allow them to completely infiltrate my being, my existence, so that I can think, I hope, in a very sound and rational way. Number one, things are never as bad as they seem. And I think any of us who have lived for any length of time, you always understand that there's always someone who has it worse than you have. Now, that's not easy to channel when you're in the midst of it. But for me, I do believe and adhere to that spirit that things are never as bad as they seemingly are, that there is an opportunity to rise above those circumstances, and just general belief in yourself. Believe in who you are and what your purpose is in this life. Now, a lot of times we don't embrace our purpose. Matter of fact, we run from that purpose. And for me, it's all about identifying that purpose. And so when you're in those difficult moments, you've got something that you feel confident that you can draw from, that guides your steps. For me, and I say this in all sincerity, I talk to the late, great Buck O'Neil almost every single day. There's certainly not a day that goes by that I don't think about my mentor, my confidant, my dear friend, and the founder of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Buck O'Neil. Now, he doesn't oftentimes talk back to me, but I talk to him almost every single day, and I honestly believe that he is guiding my footsteps. And so when you've got, hopefully, a strong knowledge base of what it is that you're doing, and then this inherent belief relative to understanding that this is so much bigger than who I am, and a passion for what you do, I think you can draw strength from those things when you're dealing with those very challenging and difficult circumstances from a work standpoint. Obviously, there are things that happen in each of our lives personally that you're also trying to make sure that you're able to stay calm in the midst of the storm. And that's probably the most difficult thing to do. It's so easy to get rattled. I try to make sure that I stay as calm and as even-keeled as I can. Even in the height of victory, I still try to stay calm. Yeah, you want to celebrate, but you understand that that celebration is so short-lived that you still have to remain focused on the big picture. And so just to try and find ways in which to stay calm, to not get too high, not get too low in those very difficult and challenging moments.